So let's start the next topic. After the transpiration, there is an activity. What you have to do is first you have to take a leaf and soak it in the spirit. Spirit is a kind of chemical which is used for burning, as well as you will find it in the nail paint too. So what you have to do, in a beaker, in a small watch glass or a china dish, you can dip the one leaf in a spirit, and after that keep that setup in a beaker which is filled with the water. Now why we are not directly heat the spirit? The reason is that the spirit is inflammable and it can catch fire. So indirectly we give the heat while keeping this setup in the water bath. That means in a beaker we take a water, and in that we'll just take a china dish and dip the spirit, dip the leaf in a spirit and heat it indirectly, so that when it get heat, the color of the leaves is changed, the green color is mixed with the spirit and it get de-starched. After that, what you have to do, just take out that leaf and just put the iodine solution. As you know, iodine solution is a test to show the presence of starch in a given substance. So when you place 1 and 2 drops of iodine solution on a leaf, it won't change its color into blue-black. Okay, in the chapter 2 in the components of food, we have studied the to show the test of presence of carbohydrate in it. So this iodine solution helps to find out that leaves does not change its color into blue-black. It shows that the leaves does not contain starch. As we know that the leaves are the main part of the plant which having a pigment called the chlorophyll which trap the light of sunlight. So the leaves is the main part of the plant which prepare the food in the presence of sunlight, which take the water from the soil and air, that is a carbon dioxide, from the surrounding to prepare its food. That process is known as photosynthesis, or in the simple sense you can say photosynthesis is the process of preparing food by the plant in the presence of sunlight, air and water, and that food that is in starch is distributed to whole part of the plant, and through the help of veins and veinlet it is distributed. After that, there is one more practical or activity which you will see, that when you having a rooted plants, that is, suppose I have this one rooted plant here, okay, and in this rooted plant what you have to do, this is also an activity, you have to take 2 potted plants and that plant 2 small plants in it. In a one pot you just place or grow this plant, and in the other you just cut the root and then grow this plant, rest part of the plant, that means rest part, that means the stem, you just cut the root and this stem is just put in the soil, and keep both the setups in the sunlight and provide the water regularly. After 2-3 days you will find that our plant without root is slowly and gradually is drying. Okay, why it is happen? Because of the roots, because that plants do not have a root and they does not get a water, they do not get a water from the soil, and so without the roots the plant is not able to survive. I told you in the earlier video also that every part of the plant is important to perform the life process of a plant. Okay, so that means the root is also the important part. So next topic is the root. So root is an important part which grows in the soil, which moves away from the sunlight, because it is penetrate in the soil, so it is move away from the sunlight and it can bind with the soil particle and help to hold the whole plant. Okay, and the roots are of 2 types. One is the tap root, second one is the fibrous root. Tap roots are those roots which you find that there is one main root, and in this you can see very clearly, this is the tap root. Here you will find the one main root, and this main root is known as the primary root, which is further divided, that is known as secondary roots, and when they are further divided into small fine threads, these are known as tertiary. So that means it having one main root, that is the primary root. When it is further divided, that is known as the secondary and the tertiary roots. This is known as the tap root. On the other hand, some of the plants where we find the roots arises from the common point. Okay, if you see it clearly, you will find that all the roots are arising from the common point, this common point. So that is, it's just like a fiber. So it is known as a fibrous root. Now next is the, what is the relation between the type of roots and the type of leaves. In the earlier video we have studied about the type of leaves. On the basis of venation there are two types, reticulate venation and parallel venation. We find that these all are the examples of reticulate. Okay, these are all the example. Here you will find the midrib and then veins and the veinlet. So this is all where you will find the web-like or net-like appearance, that is known as reticulate, and these are known as the, you will find that there is a midrib and it is a parallel. All the veins are parallel to this. These are known as a parallel venation. Now what is the relation between the root and the leaves? So the relation between the roots and the leaf is, if a plant have leaves of reticulate, its root is always tap. Okay, so tap root always having a reticulate venation in a leaves, or reticulate venation always have tap root. On the other hand, those plants whose leaves are parallel, their roots are fibrous, or you can say fibrous roots always have a parallel leaf venation. So this is the relation. So in your surrounding you will find a lot of big strong trees which you can't uproot to find out its root. Okay, it's to find out its kind of root. So by seeing its leaf we can recognize whether its roots is tap or the fibrous. Like banyan tree, you can see the leaves of banyan tree, leaves of a peepal, its leaf, their leaves are of reticulate, and that means its root is tap root. So this is the relation between the tap root, fibrous root, parallel and reticulate venation. So this is an important part which we have already done in the exercise, in the previous videos as well as in the activities. Now the next topic is the flower. The flower is one of the most important part of a plant. It is one of the attractive, colorful part which helps to reproduce. Now the next question is, what is the reproduction? Reproduction or reproduce means those who are able to produce their own kinds. Okay, ones who can able to produce the new plants or the new progenies. Okay, or new babies in the simple words. So flower is one of the important part of a plant. Okay, and it has a four part. The first part is, you can see this green part, this is known as sepal, and this colorful part is petal, and here after that you will find this yellow colored, these all are the stamens. Okay, yellow parts, and they having a stick like structure, that is a filament. And after that you will find that there is a one more thing is there, that is the female part, that is known as the pistil. So it having a stigma. This is, after that there is a style, and in the center between on the base is the ovary, and inside the ovary is the ovule. So that means a reproductive part of that is a flower, and the flower has a four important part. First one is the sepal, second is the petal, third one is the stamen, and fourth one is the pistil. Stamen is also known as the male reproductive part, and pistil is known as a female reproductive parts, and it is also known as the carpels as a pistil also. Okay, so now what next question is, what are the functions of these parts? These two parts, sepal and the petals, are the non-essential part because they are not directly involved in the process of reproduction. This green part, that is known as the sepal, it helps to protect the flower, because when the flower is in the stage of budding, when they give a bud, so the bud is covered by this green object, that is in sepal. So sepal protect the plant, or sepal protect the flower, the whole flower. Okay, and these petals are very important. These are always colorful to attract the insects, or the butterfly, wasp, honeybees, beetles. Now what's the reason why it is attracting? First, they get the nourishment from that, they get the nectars, they get the juices, but also it helps in the pollination. When any insects sit on it, this yellow colors that is in pollens, which is present in the anther. This pollen will be stick to the body of the insects, and when these insects move to the another flower, then it will be enter into the another plant's part, and it helps in the reproduction. We know that in some plants there is only the male reproductive organ, in some there is a female reproductive organ, but there are some common flowers which have both the organs, like the China rose. Here they having a male reproductive organ, that is a yellow color, and here you will find in the red color, that is in female reproductive parts. So both are there, so they are able to do the pollination. But those plants or having a flower which have a separate male and female reproductive organs in that different flower, so how they will be reached? That means how the pollens will be reached to the female part by the help of air, by the help of insects, by the help of water. Okay, so that is an important role, and this petals helps to attract the insects so that the pollination, that means transferring of male pollen grains into the female stigma, helps the pollination and the process of reproduction. So this is all. And in the female reproductive organ, it's having a more important parts. You can see this is a, you can easily see this. Okay, you will find that this is a yellowish color. This is known as anther. It is bilobed in structure, and this one is a filament. Okay, and in this, when you just crush it, you will find the powdery appearance in it. On the other hand, you will find that there is a, you can see it, this is the stigma. Okay, this is stigma. Why it is known as stigma? Because it is sticky, so that when the pollens, you can see some of the pollens are sticking on it. Okay, so these powdery structures, you can see on my hands also, this is powdery structures, when they stick on the stigma, it moves to the, this is the style, the tube like structure is styled, and after that you will find inside it, this is a very long tube like structure. In this you can see it. Okay, so this is the stigma, this is all the style, and when you see it inside it, okay, this is the tube. I'll just take it out the tube. This is the simple tube. Okay, and this tube, with the help of this is the style. Okay, so this style, and if I'll just crush it, you will find the ovary here. You can easily see this. This is the ovary. Okay, it is just crushed. You will see the ovary. Okay, so this swollen or bulgy part is known as ovary, and when you crush this ovary, you will find, you can see it, a small, you can see it, a small ovules are present. So this is the structure of this, and this helps to do the exchange of male and female gametes to produce the new baby plants. After that, the fusion of male and female gametes forms a zygote, and known as a fertilization, and it produces a baby plant that is known as a zygote, and it will give the new plants. Thank you. Hope you understood.